The lesson I draw from what happened is, number one, law and order, law and order, law and order. The second lesson is that our country needs a return of authority on every level, firstly in the family. I want to tackle the question of parental authority at the end of the summer. Concerning many of the young people taking part in riots, it's not the schools or police that can deal with the problem. The cause of it has to be dealt with. Some families have to be made aware of their responsibilities, others have to be given support, and there has to be a massive reinvestment in young people to give them a framework.
Well, France 24's French politics editor Marc Perelman joins me now on set for some more analysis. Hi, Marc. So the violence that followed that police killing then obviously dominated a significant portion of his remarks.
Yes, and clearly the president is quite satisfied with the outcome. He said in 4 days this was over and law and order prevailed. He compared this to the 2005 riots. They lasted for 3 weeks. There was a state of emergency. He said this time we deployed 45,000 security troops, and this was over within 4 days. And we arrested 4,000 people, many of them very young. And so this is why you heard him talking about the lack of authority in families, at schools, and so on. So the need to work on this issue. What he didn't do is what the right, and obviously the far right, have done in the wake of the riot, is link the issue to immigration. He clearly didn't want to follow that road because he knows it's a slippery one. And he clearly said we have to deal with schools, we have to deal with city centers, how we invest more, how we invest better. But he didn't want to make that obvious link. But clearly he can breathe a sigh of relief because the summer is there. The riots have stopped. They were not reignited by the Bastille Day, which is often a day when there is violence, cars being burnt, and so on. And he obviously saluted the Interior Minister for his work. We also know the Interior Minister was hoping that today he would be the Prime Minister, but clearly this is not the case.
Well, speaking to then Macron's satisfaction with the way things occurred, how significant is it that he reiterated his support for Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne then?
Well, it's clearly significant for her. Basically, he considers, to use an English word that's often heard in the policy circles around the Élysée, she delivered. Essentially, he said this was the choice of trust, continuity, and efficiency. He said, I gave her a roadmap, 100 days to essentially deliver. And he said, yes, she was able to push through some text within Parliament. He said, yes, despite only having a relative majority, we're able to vote more laws than in many instances in the past. He said, be on the environment, on military spending, on many other issues. We're making progress, and I believe that she is the one who is able to deliver. He also laid a whole program about reforms in education, in the environment, to have more factories reopen in France, as we have lots of work. Clearly, this was an endorsement, but I wouldn't say a full-fledged endorsement. He says, okay, she's done well. I trust her. Obviously, what will happen in the near future, she knows that she's going to survive, quote unquote, the summer, probably into the fall, but there's no guarantee that she will last longer. Maybe Emmanuel Macron is just saving his powder and trying to see whether he might trigger bigger government reshuffle, including a new prime minister in the fall or in the winter, if he sees that this relative majority is proving to be a problem for him to be able to implement his policies.
Marc Perelman, thank you very much.